Up right now. But welcome to fall cooking. And what's the name of this class? Fall soups and chilies? I know that we're doing fall baking on Saturday, which I'm super excited about. But I realized as I was prepping today that most of the action is going to be happening right here at the stove. So instead of doing this head on and then moving it, I'm just going to get this camera a little bit closer to the pots when we start cooking. So I'm starting off at an angle already. And as always, complaining about my back. My back's a little bit cranky. And so I'm going to sit while we're just talking at the beginning and kicking things off. So Victoria, if it's just you and me, welcome to a private lesson. I'm really excited to be here tonight. It feels like it's been forever. Has it been 5 weeks instead of 4 maybe? I don't know, but I'm really excited to do the fall baking class with you this weekend too. To give you a sneak peek, we're going to go from these recipes tonight to Saturday. I'm going to do a pumpkin bread, but I'm going to do my own little spin. We're going to mess around with some different combinations, and then we're going to do an apple cranberry tart, which looks so delicious. And I need some new fall baking recipes myself, so I thought it would be fun to try some new things. So if anyone's cooking along with me tonight, let me know. Victoria, are you? You can let me know, because I'm going to start, I think, with the, here's what I've done. I'm roasting the cauliflower already, actually, for the cauliflower kale soup. And then I'm going to start with the sweet potato chili and just let it simmer a little bit longer. I did go ahead and here's what I've done to get started. I started sauteing a bunch of onions, actually, because both of these soups are going to be built, like their flavors are going to be built in these pots. And so for the cauliflower kale soup, I'm roasting the cauliflower in the oven. And I love that. It adds some more flavor to it. It's like adds the sugars caramelize more, right? So you get kind of like you just get like a sweeter, more evolved depth of flavor from the cauliflower than you would if you didn't roast it. I'm going to grab it right now. But actually, I'm going to put it back in just for like 5 minutes, and I'll show you why. Timer. Oop, I think I did something to my oven. I'm going to crank up the heat just a little bit more and give it like 5 minutes. Maybe a little bit more than that. Okay. So anyhow, I decided to roast the cauliflower in advance because that takes about 20 to 30 minutes. But the really cool thing about the cauliflower kale soup is that if you didn't want to roast the cauliflower first, you could put it directly into the pan and just let it simmer for like 15 to 20 minutes in the stock until you can pierce it with a knife or a fork, and then you puree it from there. But I just think roasting the vegetables like that first really brings out their flavors. The other thing is if you want to roast the kale with it, you can do that too, just to kind of wilt it down at the end. You can also just put the kale directly in the pan. But I was at the store today shopping for like the 20th time. Oh, I love that you're on your iPad. That's the way to do this. Just relax, right? That's so good. Thank you for hanging out with me. But I'm just going to use the rest of the spinach that I have. I bought a pound of spinach leaves, and you know when you cook spinach, it just goes down to nothing. And I've been using it a lot in smoothie recipes that I was working on, which has been so much fun. But I just wanted to use it in the soup because spinach is absolutely delicious in it as well. And the funny thing you'll notice about the spinach and the kale, the flavor is really, really mild. So I'm just using it more than anything for nutritional value and vibrant color. It just turns it so gorgeous. So the cauliflower and the stalk makes this really creamy, beautiful texture. And then the greens add the color and an extra boost of nutrition. So that one's gonna come together for us really quickly after the cauliflower comes out of the oven, especially because I already sauteed the onions and started softening them up a little bit. So we're gonna switch to the chili. This is like so easy because if none of you are following along with me, it's just like, I can't do it in 30 minutes or less like a television show, but I can make it a lot faster and make it a little bit more entertaining for us, right? So as always, if anybody has questions, if you're watching me live, you're welcome to ask them along the way. And then the other thing is if you do this recipe at home and you have questions, you can DM me at Amanda Haas Cooks. You can email us at hello@amandahaascooks.com and let us know if you have questions or comments. And I always love when you post pictures on Instagram and you tag me at Amanda Haas Cooks so I can repost what you made, okay? So, sweet potato turkey chili with cilantro oil and pepitas. This is a recipe that I developed for my last book, The Vibrant Life. And now I'm going to be so sad because my son, Charlie, has some friends who love to eat and who love to cook. And one of them, named Palmer, was here. They were all here for Super Bowl when I was testing this recipe. And he loved it. He gave it his stamp of approval. So I call it kind of like my fancier version of a chili because normally I would just make the chili part, but I was trying to do something different. So instead of doing like basil or parsley or something for greens, I did a little cilantro oil, which you certainly don't have to add, but it just adds like an extra little bright kick to it. And then I spiced some pumpkin seeds, pepitas. I just put some spices on those. And then you can fry up tortilla strips as well. So it looks like the picture that's in your packet, right? So that's if you want to make it super fancy. But let's get going on the base of the chili. And it calls for 3 to 4 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. Actually, you know, I always tell you that when you cook with olive oil, you're like cooking out all of the great health properties. So and the flavor, kind of like you're not gonna get that much flavor out of it. I like to save my good extra virgin olive oils for when I'm using them in dressings and serving them raw. So if it's not extra virgin, don't sweat it. It's just what I normally have around. 2 red onions diced, salt, chili powder, garlic cloves, cumin, fennel seeds, ground turkey, sweet potatoes. I already peeled and diced. Crushed tomatoes. I have those over there. I bought whole tomatoes because that's all they had at the store today, and I crushed them with a potato masher. So if you can't find crushed tomatoes, you can do that. Chicken broth, and then black beans or pinto beans, which I've already rinsed and drained. Okay, so this is a really basic base chili recipe, but I love that it has the sweet potatoes in it. Especially if you're trying to cook for vegetarians, you could certainly just leave out the turkey and keep the sweet potatoes in, right? So we're going to start by sauteing the onions, which I already did, and adding the spices to that. And then I think I'm supposed to take them out and add the meat. That's what I'm supposed to do. And then add the sweet potatoes, crushed tomatoes, and chicken broth. But you know what I'm going to do? Just because I'm feeling wild, I'm going to keep the onions in there, and it's going to be fine. Let me get the turkey. I also, you know, I don't know why I called for 1.5 pounds of turkey. It's kind of annoying because if you buy it from the butcher, terrific, you can have as much as you want. But most packs come in 1 pound. I bought this organic turkey from Trader Joe's. And I think my friends at Diestel told me maybe it's their turkey. Don't tell anybody. I think that's true. I'll have to confirm that. But anyhow, I didn't buy extra turkey, and I used a little less onion than what I called for and less sweet potato because I'm just cooking for myself and Charlie. His big brother just went back to college last week, so it's back to the 2 of us. But the other thing I want to remind you always is that most of these recipes can scale up and down really easily. Right? So you can add more stock or add more crushed tomatoes if you're trying to thin it out and feed more people. If you want to bulk up on protein, you can by adding more turkey, adding more beans. It's really for you to decide, okay? So let's just get the spices together and the garlic, and then I'm going to put it all together. Cumin and fennel seeds. I think I already got them. Yep. And then I need just a little something to put these in so I don't use too much. And then the garlic cloves, which I know I have here. Okay, cool. You know what I can do, actually, is put this down. Let's get the camera going in the right way. What do you say? I'll bring this over. And then while I chop my garlic, but then we'll move the whole operation over to the cooktop. I guess I can get my mouse out of the way now, right? Ay. It has been a week, I should say. I've got some really exciting news to announce to you all very, very soon. And I've been hard at work on a new business, 2 new businesses, and it's coming together. It just all kind of came, it's all happening this very moment. And so a lot of my time has been dedicated to this. to that project. And so this feels like the best kind of vacation to cook with you. Okay, let's get the cauliflower out, and then I'll show you what that's looking like before we build the chili. So you see the caramelized bits? That's what we're going for, friends. That's where all the flavor is, right? So we can just let this cool a little bit. I'm just going to leave this on the cooktop. And, oops, I don't want to burn Nom Nom Paleo. My friend Michelle has these great little plastic versions of herself. Okay, so let's just, I'm going to chop this garlic, and then I'm going to get the spices measured. I think we've got about 1.5 teaspoons of each. A teaspoon of each. We can do that. And then I think do I need to have paprika for this recipe? Oh, I think that's in with the, yeah, chili powder is in with the, oh yeah, no, I need chili powder for this as well. Okay, garlic. Oh, I add the chili powder with the garlic, and then the cumin and the fennel seeds. I love rewriting my own recipes. I'm like, why did I add those after the garlic cloves? Why are they in that order? I don't know, friends. I don't know. So we're just going to do it the way I want to do it, okay? So let's just put the fennel seeds in here. And do you have a favorite chili powder, and what spice level is it? Okay, Q, it's so funny you should ask that. I lent my friend Sunny my chili powder the other night. I make chili powder blends, but when I'm not messing around myself, I just use like the basic chili powder they sell at the store. I tend to like certain brands better, but I usually use something really mild. So, excuse me as I move the camera for a quick second, I'm going to show you. Oh, I'm going to use smoked paprika. A lot of times they call for paprika anyhow, but since I have lent mine out, I'm just going to use this. It's going to give it a smokier flavor actually, but it's still very mild. So let's see how this is going to taste. I think it calls for 2 tablespoons. I'm probably going to go a little bit easy on that. I don't know what's in my blend. You know what? I have to look them up in my cookbooks because I'm constantly making new ones. Cumin, oregano typically, paprika, some sort of ground chili powder. This is going to be delicious, smoky and delicious. And I always, it's not embarrassing, it's just hilarious that every time I write a cookbook, I end up doing spice blends because I use them so much, but I like to invent new ones. And so I don't look at the old ones, I just make new ones and I write them down. And sometimes they're very close to what I had in the past. Other times they're completely different. You never know with me. So, when the new book comes out, oh, I meant to put some copies up. I just got my press copies here. When my new book comes out next month, we'll look and see what I've got in there for a chili blend this time. Okay, these are humongous garlic cloves. I thought this was going to be like 3 cloves in one, but it's not. And so let me get a knife, and I'm going to do this the right way. Okay, I've got my sweet potatoes you can see over here already too. So I'm really ready to go with all of my other ingredients. We just need to finish sauteing the onion by adding the garlic and the spices, and then I'll throw in the turkey. It'd be one thing if I had so much onion that I couldn't fit the turkey in the bottom of the pan easily, but because I used less onion than the recipe called for, I don't think it's going to do anything to it to keep it in there, okay? 2 of your fat. Yeah, so I don't do a lot of spice. My son Connor loves heat, and Charlie and I are pretty bad about tolerating heat, and so we just end up adding things to his. Like, he likes a lot of chipotle if I'm doing something with chipotle and adobo, but he just puts hot sauce in practically everything I make where it's appropriate. I'm always telling you to add salt to this, so let's do it. It'll just help mince it a little bit better. Keep it from sliding around so much. Okay, that's right about where I like it. It's fine enough, so if you get a piece of it, you're not like, what is that chunk of garlic that I just got in my mouth? Just, yep, there we go. Now, normally I would use my bench scraper, you know, to scrape this up and move it, but because, watch this, it all fits on my knife, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna put it directly into the pan and I'll show you what I'm doing over there, okay? Do not worry. I'm gonna turn the pan back on and I'm gonna move the camera for us. So let me just clean up my workspace. Be a faithful little cleaner as I go, since I will be the one cleaning it up afterwards. That's for sure. I look forward to a day where I have dishwashers, as in human dishwashers. Okay. All right, let's do this. I'm back, just so you can see me talking while I do this. Let's move the camera. I'm gonna get my keypad out of the way. I don't think I'm gonna win any Academy Awards for my camera moves, am I? But if I do this, and then, oh yeah, this is gonna be a lot better. Let's do this. I'm gonna move the cutting board over. And then we're gonna just be able to get all of this in one shot, right? And we're gonna do this all together. Now the best part is that I can still see your comments. So while I'm cooking, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, okay? And I will respond to them. So I'm probably gonna go between moving it a little bit more down into the pair. You know what, let's get even closer. Nope, not good. We'll get it like that so that I can turn and show you the pan, okay? Does that sound good? And then when I do the cauliflower soup, we'll move it up. So here's how this is gonna go. We're gonna keep sauteing the garlic and the spices with the onion for probably 1 minute. And then I am gonna add in the ground turkey. I am taking it directly from the package. I'm gonna just cut this and put it right in. There's no point in trying to cut this open and handle it with your hands and do all of that. It's just, you don't need to. So I've already checked the expiration date. I'm not worried about that. You don't need to smell it. If you smell it, something's wrong, right? If you can smell something bad, something's wrong. And then we're gonna add the chicken broth. We're gonna add the sweet potatoes and the spices. We're gonna let it simmer. Does it tell me does it say I add the black beans at the same time? Just the tomatoes, I think, right? Let's see. Let's see what I tell you to do. Sweet potatoes, crushed tomatoes, and chicken broth, right. And then I do the beans after a little bit. Okay, so here are the tomatoes I crushed with my new potato masher. You guys, oh my gosh, I have to do my giveaways for tonight. OXO sent me so many amazing tools. I just bought this actually because I needed a new masher, but I cannot wait to show you what you win tonight. Oh, okay. All right, so back on the heat we go. And pull that back just a little bit. This is probably going to come right back up to heat because it was on before we started class. And I'm doing that part off camera where I did something stupid with a knife, right? Let's see what happens when I turn the light on. Oh, that's better, isn't it? Okay, so I've got my ground turkey here ready to go. This is pretty lean. It's like 93%, 7% fat. So it's very, very lean. Okay, come on, crank it up. Crank it up. I'm going to add the spices as well. Let's go for it. This is also a good lesson in, like, if you don't have everything exactly, don't worry about it. The smoked paprika is going to be delicious. And it's going to be great with the black beans and the sweet potatoes. I think we'll really love that instead of the chili powder. Ain't no big thing, right? It's just taking a second to get sizzly again. Do we think that's a word, sizzly? I don't know. I do not know. But you can see with the spices, it's going to add some beautiful, well, when the tomatoes are added, it's all going to be this color anyhow, right? But we're just going to give this a second. And when it starts getting fragrant, but before the garlic burns, that's when we want to add the turkey in. So again, you can see these onions aren't really taking up the whole pot, right? If they were an entire layer on the bottom, I would bother taking them out. going to the trouble of doing that before I add the turkey. But I'm going to be able to add the turkey as well and break it up without worrying about not having enough space to do that. So I'll kind of like push the onions aside and then cook the turkey, and then we'll put everything else in and let it simmer. Everything except the black beans, which we'll add at the very end. This is actually the perfect recipe for game day watching if you guys like to lounge, or I'm usually just binging on shows while my kids are watching sports. Although I did say I'm trying to commit to watching more football this season because it's really a great way to connect with them, because they're so obsessed with their fantasy football leagues that I kind of have to know, right? Okay, let me show you what I'm doing here. Just after I have a sip of water. Oh, look at that. I need a camera person. Oops, see, yeah, no, I'm going to make everybody terribly dizzy by doing that. Never mind. I'm so sorry. I thought that would be fun. That's just going to drive you crazy. The heat of the onions is actually going to help cook the turkey. And because the turkey has such a small amount of fat in it, it's going to cook really quickly, and you don't want to dry it out. So we're just literally looking for this turkey to go from pink to barely brown. And the minute it's cooked, we're going to add the broth, the sweet potato, and the tomatoes. We're going to bring it to a simmer and let it do its thing on the back burner, literally on the back burner. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. We're just going to hang out. I forget that I can literally sit. Isn't that fun? Any questions so far? No? Can anybody else see how many people are here? Is it just the three of us? Oh, now I see. I think we have a few more. Now I can see it. They changed where it is on the screen. I mean, you guys, I typically don't sit while I cook, just to be clear, but it's one of those days. I've done all of my back stretches and I've been so much better, but it's just really worn out today, you know? I've been planking. Okay. Now, if you're cooking on cast iron, sometimes you'll notice you get hot spots in the pan. You can do one of a couple things. One is just put food right there, right? Or you can add a little bit of liquid and deglaze it really quickly by scraping up with the spatula. So I'm going to bring this camera back up to my face so that you can see both things. Oh, here we go. Camera move again. Be-do. Okay. So I'm going to add the tomatoes, the black beans. No, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, and the chicken broth, okay? The turkey is literally already cooked through. It's just there are a couple little pink spots. I'm just burying them in there, and then off they go. I think I'm going to wish I had put more smoked paprika in there. We're going to find out. That's just my best guess. Let's get that out of the way. And then I want the tomatoes and the sweet potatoes. So all we're trying to do is simmer this to help the flavors come together and get the sweet potatoes cooked. And as soon as they're cooked, we'll add the beans. Okay, in they go. I peeled mine. You know, sometimes I don't peel them. I just scrub them really well. But I think for chili, I kind of like having them peeled just because you don't, sometimes with the peels on, it's like it can separate in the bites, and not everybody loves that. So we're not going to worry about that. I know, in my heart of hearts, this will need more salt. So let's just do that right now. Okay, and then we're going to simmer. I'm going to cover it partially with the lid right now, and the second I hear it come to a boil, we're going to turn it down and let it simmer, okay? While I do that, should we look up a spice blend? What do you think? I think I'll go grab one. I've really locked myself in here today. This camera situation. I have a feeling you guys are going to email and say, not the best. Not the best setup. We can switch it for the other one. Okay, friends, look what I got. I know I already had a copy, but oh, how funny. I'm wearing the same shirt. I should film a video tonight. I literally look the same. I should be holding a chicken, right? Hi, Susan. How are you? I'm just doing the turkey sweet potato chili right now, and I'm waiting for it to come up to a simmer before I turn it down and let it do its thing for about 15 to 20 minutes. We're just wanting the sweet potatoes to be cooked through. And in the meantime, here's my new book with me wearing the exact same shirt with my hair the exact same way. Literally, I have a clip in my hair that's not even supposed to be in your hair. And that's what was in this picture. You can see it sticking out the top. But let's look at my spice blends. That's what we wanted to. Oh, Susan, where are you moving? Are you moving close to where you live now or far away? Tell us everything. I know I have spice blends. Yep, autumn spice blend, taco spice rub. That's going to be what's closest. Moroccan, Italian. Let's see what we got. I can hear it start to simmer. Oh yeah, we got all kinds of blends, friends. I have to read this book. I haven't read it since I wrote it, and that's kind of fun. Okay. I'm literally going to move this to the back burner. Switch while it simmers. See if I can get that one to turn on at the same time. Hello, cranky burner. Nope. Nope, there it goes. Can't believe I'm so cranky again. And then I'm going to turn this one down to very low and let that simmer while we chat for a minute. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, good. So, all right, KQ, let's talk spice rubs. Taco spice rub, which is basically what you can put in chili, whatever you want. Let's see what Susan, we are going from Florida to Ohio. Wow, that's a big move. Exciting, huh? Very exciting. You have a grandson there. That's going to be great. He'll be close by. Oh, how fantastic. How fantastic. Thanks for joining us, even in the middle of your move. Okay, taco spice rub. It is 2 tablespoons chili powder, 2 teaspoons ground cumin, 2 teaspoons kosher salt, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of dried oregano, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne if you like heat, right? So you'll look forward to seeing that recipe in here, okay? You can walk to your house. Oh, that's so fantastic. That's really exciting, Susan. I'm glad this is a good break for you. Thanks for hanging out. I want to say on here too, even though many of you will be watching this after the book comes out, is that you guys, if you have pre-ordered it, first of all, thank you. If you've pre-ordered it anywhere, you're going to be able to send your receipt into my publisher and get a free cooking class that I'm doing just for the people who pre-ordered my book. I'll be doing it a day or two after the Thursday, the 26th. I'm doing that class of October. But if you pre-order it off the link on my website that says enter to win the Traeger grill, you guys, there are only like 90 people signed up for that giveaway. I haven't really promoted it in a big, wide way. It's just quietly hanging out on my website. So if you go to amandahaascooks.com and then you click on cookbooks and you see the places you can buy it, one of the options is Porch Light that says like enter to win a Traeger. All you do is pre-order the book there. And then this is $34.95 cover price. It's $25 on there. And Amazon's not selling this at a reduced price. They're like back up to full price. So you save $10. I think shipping's $5 or $6, but you end up saving money on the book and you're entered to win a Traeger grill and all of these incredible OXO tools that they just sent me for you guys. They already sent me your big gift package. So it's like a $1,750 prize. So just reminding you, okay? I get really sick of talking about this. I haven't filmed a single like promotional video yet. I guess I will. I need to call Caitlin and have her come do it with me because I'm just not going to do it on my own, even though there would be so much fun stuff to do right now, considering I'm wearing the same thing. Maybe I'll do a little like boomerang or something. I don't know. So, okay. So while this simmers quietly away, that looks amazing. I'm going to crank it up a little bit more. That's the back burner, I hope. And then let's fix this. What if I move the camera? What do we think about it coming over here? Would this work? Let's see. Yes, it would work, wouldn't it? And then all I would have to do is come up to here, right? To here? Do we like that better? You can vote. Or just tell me to go back to my regular, the old-fashioned way I used to do it. Whatever you prefer, okay? All right, let's get started on this other, on the cauliflower kale soup. And Susan, to bring you up to speed, I'm going to use spinach instead of kale tonight. And I've already roasted my cauliflower for about 25 minutes. I let it go. You don't have to roast your cauliflower first, but what it's going to do is save you time cooking and bring out all the flavors with that caramelization, right? So it's just kind of like a little cheater if you want tons of flavor. So that is ready for me. I'm going to get this out of the way because who wants tomatoes in this soup? We do not want tomatoes in this soup, but I'm pretty sure I have not checked to see how much. 4 cups of chicken stock. That's what I need. That's what I needed to measure. Let's get 4 cups of stock. We're going to need 2 of this. And so I'll bring you up to speed on where we are. And because we're going to use the spinach instead of kale, this is going to happen, all of this is going to happen so quickly. All right. So I'm going to turn this back on, and while I wait for this pan to come back up, I'm going to chop a clove of garlic. You like spinach better than kale anyways? Well then, hooray! You know what? I'm not a huge kale fan. I just tried to give in to everybody's kale mania, as I like to call it. But I don't love it. And so I love it in this soup though, because you don't really taste, when you cook kale, it gets rid of some of that earthiness, right? That we don't love raw. And so this is really not going to be my night for camera work. Here I was experimenting, and I don't think it's very helpful. However, we'll get there, folks. Okay, so can you see? Actually, this is great for showing you. Can you see how that's brown on the edges? I don't want to eat that part, okay? So we're not gonna. We are not going to eat that part. We're gonna just get rid of it. I think that chili's simmering a little too vigorously for my liking, so I just turned it down a little bit. Quick stir. Oh, I can actually keep that spoon right there. All right, now I'm going to crank this up. Oh yeah, it's starting to sizzle again. Let me move the camera, and then towards the end I'll reset all of this when we're going to do the garnishes. And I'll stop driving us crazy with my new advances in camera work. Okay, here it is. We're looking right here, right? So I've added the garlic to that. Let me get another wood spoon. And I'm going to crank it up a little bit. I want that garlic to cook just enough so it's fragrant but not burned. You know how garlic sticks to your fingers? Yep. Okay, good. I'm glad you could see the garlic, Victoria. But I definitely need 2 cameras going at all times and someone to help me toggle between the 2. You need a second person. But in my new business, friends, we won't have to worry about that. I can't wait to tell you about it. This is starting to smell really yummy. So I'm just double checking my instructions. Yep. Okay, so now it tells me to add the kale. I'm going to cook it for like 1 minute because it's going to take no time to cook because spinach takes 0 time to wilt. And I'm going to add at least 4 cups because watch it wilt. I love showing people this. Should I just go for it and put everything in there? That's probably a little too much. Some of it just got thrown underneath. You're welcome. Let's just see what happens when I use all of it. It's going to be a very green soup. But we're also probably going to be shocked at how quickly it wilts. I just really wanted to be able to put that in the recycling and get it out of my fridge. Okay, let's just see here, folks. I've totally crowded the pan, but I don't care. You're probably not surprised. Oh yeah, so see, these warm onions and garlic are gonna just kind of like help wilt it down. I know I'm gonna need more salt. I didn't even think about the beautiful green spinach in my green pan, but it's very appropriate. So fun. Ooh, gorgeous, yum. Let's get a little more salt. Oh yeah, can you see? I mean, that's like no time. Has it been a minute? And then all we need to do is have it wilt enough to make room for the cauliflower, which it can. I'm so hungry. Yum. In you go, cauliflower. I want all those yummy caramelized bits. And then we're going to add the stock. I add the lemon juice after I cook this, which is rare for me, but I like it to have that much zing. I like it to have a little bit more bite than I typically would. Let's bring this up to a boil. I think I'm not going to have enough stock because I wasn't paying attention when I went shopping. We'll use water. Excuse me. Gonna get a splash of water. We might not even need it actually. I'm gonna, yeah. Now here's the other thing. You could add a ton of seasonings to this. If you want to add heat, you could add cayenne. If you want to add other spices, you could take this a number of directions. I just created this for like a January kind of like really clean recipe. And I just love it with the lemon juice and the garlic and the onions, the salt and pepper. You really just taste the vegetables. And it's so good when it's pureed that you don't even have to worry about adding cream to it. It's kind of amazing. We're going to add some creme fraiche or yogurt to the top just for kicks. Okay, friends, what do you say I move this camera again? Close your eyes if you need a break, because it's probably going to make you dizzy. I warned you. Okay, here goes nothing. I'm going to move it slowly back. And then tilt it back up so you can see me and the soup. How are we doing? Excuse me. I think we should push it back a little bit. How is that? Good? Is that working? We can see everything at once. This is coming to a simmer very quickly. This just needs a couple minutes for the flavors to melt, and then I'm going to add the lemon juice. Then we'll let it cool and we'll puree it, which is going to be so good. And then you can add chives, parsley, whatever you want. I think the other thing that's interesting about this recipe is I don't add herbs to the vegetables while it's cooking. You certainly can. During the lemon juice, oh yeah, I garnish with them at the end, which is so rare for me. Usually I cook them in, but I think that I also just loved the brighter flavors of this by not doing that. And it's so pretty on top when you have all of the garnishes on it. So it's kind of a dramatic presentation, you know? Okay, we're just gonna do this, turn it way down, let it simmer for about 5-10 minutes, and then we need to let it cool because I'm gonna use my immersion blender that I put straight in the pot. Rebel sent me one and I love it so much. So instead of putting it in a blender, I'm just going to keep it in the pot. And then you can either serve it directly from this, but the other thing is I let this cool and I just keep it in the pot in the refrigerator, which is just so handy and so easy if you want to go serve it for another meal, or it's just one less dish to wash. And you know how I feel about that, right? So, okay, where are we? Any questions so far on either recipe? I love both of these, and I chose to teach them together because you can make them in advance for the week. Like last Sunday, I was showing people on Instagram. I woke up and I think, oh, I'd driven my son to college. I got home on Friday, maybe. I think we went Thursday. I got home Friday, or Friday, got home Saturday. And on Sunday, I just wanted to be at home and cook and clean out my refrigerator. So I did exactly that. I took out anything random that was in my fridge. And I didn't put a single new thing in my refrigerator until everything was cleaned out. And I cleaned every shelf, took it out, hot soapy water. I scrubbed the whole thing down. And then I started to cook. And I made a bunch of things. I made a red sauce, which I always end up doing. I did a red sauce with zucchini and garlic and onion and a little bit of ground beef and crushed tomatoes. And so I love that I put a ton of zucchini in it. I made a marinade. I did a chipotle marinade, which I've used a couple different ways this week. I made an Asian marinade with coconut milk and fish sauce and lime juice, which was yummy. And then, oh yeah, what did I do? Oh, I made rice so I can make fried rice. So the thing I realized is when my son Charlie has basketball and they practice at all hours, he comes in and he's so hungry at random times. And so after school, instead of being like, oh, what do you want to snack on? I just tend to have something like this around, something really hearty, so he can just eat a meal, right? And it's so much better than snacking on junk food. So when people are like, oh, I don't want them to spoil their dinner, I would so much rather have them eat something that's good for them at 3 or 4 than eat junk and then be too full to eat a real meal. And I know I don't really have that problem anymore because my kids are grown. But when your kids are little and they're really hungry and they're kind of like bouncing off the walls, and you're like, oh, I want them to wait till dinner, just feed them real food, see what happens. It's amazing. It's so much better, right? And I read somewhere somebody was saying, I think it was Kat Cora, she and her wife were like, we just make like amazing popcorns with like cheese and yummy things on them before dinner. And if they fill up on that, great. It's nothing junky, right? They put like really yummy ingredients on them. But they don't worry, or you put out a big thing of veggies and hummus or something like that, and if they spoil their dinner on good food, right? So that's kind of my approach. This is not simmering enough. You just have to listen. It's that fine line between a boil and just a gentle little simmer. See? And it's gonna happen. And this guy, let's just check his sweet potato, shall we? I've combined my spoons. That is bad. Let's just use a little knife and see how this goes. Nope, the sweet potato is still crunchy. So that's going to need a little more time. And while we wait for that to finish cooking, and before we add the beans, we need to make the pepita, the toasted pumpkin seeds. We can make tortilla strips if we want. I know I've shown you that before. And we can make the cilantro oil, right? So why don't we do the cilantro oil first, just because it's different. And if anybody needs a break while I'm grabbing the ingredients, it's just gonna be cilantro, I think white vinegar, just distilled vinegar, sugar, a little bit of sugar. And then, let's see, oh, garlic, white wine vinegar, sugar, cilantro, extra virgin olive oil, and kosher salt. And if my memory serves me correctly, just throw it all in a blender. Yep. Oh, small food processor. I don't have one. Add the vinegar and sugar and pulse a few more times. Add the cilantro and oil and process. Blah, blah, blah. I always find easier ways to do things when I'm not writing a book or when I just want to, when I write books, I try to be so clear, right? I try to leave as little room for error as possible, but when I'm cooking for real, that's just not how I roll. And so you see a balance between the two. Yep, that's looking good. That is at a perfect simmer. This just still needs to come up a little bit. There it goes. There it goes. So this allows a little bit of steam to escape, but you can pay better attention to it. Sometimes if I have it fully covered, it might be boiling more vigorously, and what you don't realize is that it's burning on the bottom and cooking too quickly. And so you can have that happen where if you're not stirring things, it'll scorch the bottom of the pan. And so you kind of lose, if you were to stir that in, it's like burnt food into your chili or your soup. but also you just lose a lot of the volume of it if it burns on the bottom, right? So we don't want that. Okay, I'm gonna grab the ingredients and the blender. So if any of you need to take a quick break, I'm just gonna push this back a little bit. I'm sure I'm gonna forget that all of this is attached and it's gonna go flying, but I'm gonna do this. Let's get the compost out of the way. I'm gonna bring the blender up. Feel free to take a quick break. Get yourself a glass of wine or something to relax if you'd like, fresh water. And I'm gonna get everything we need. I think I just need the vinegar along with the carafe, which, where did I put the blender carafe? We're gonna find out. Oh, maybe it's still in the, oh yeah, I washed it in the washer. Isn't that funny? Vinegar. I hardly ever use white vinegar. Why did I call for it here? I think because it has a lot of bite. Let's see, is this what I call for? White wine vinegar, not just, okay. Hold, please. Do I have white wine vinegar? If not, I'll use something else. We'll use red. I have red. We'll use red. Sugar, garlic, and oil. Okay. And then I've got my sugar. And then olive oil. And I'm going to pull this back and put it all into the carafe for you. Just angle this down, okay? All right. So what we're going to do is take everything you see here. Oh, I love that camera. Okay, so we've got our red wine vinegar. I'm just going to throw it all in, and it's going to be fine. So I'm going to use the red instead of the white. No big whoop. Tablespoon of sugar. That just sweetens it against the garlic and cilantro and the acid. It's actually a really nice balance. Okay. And then I'm going to use a couple cloves of garlic, olive oil, and how much cilantro does it call for? This cilantro has been really nicely washed. Okay, 3/4 of a cup. Let's just see what this looks like, shall we? To make sure I'm not totally messing up. Oh, here's a cup. It's my drawer of OXO tools. Okay, so 3/4 of a cup. I'm gonna do that and push it down. Nope, I can use more. That's almost the whole thing. Okay, close enough. Yeah, that's pretty good. Throw that in. Now I'm going to let this get really pureed. That's why I'm not worried about the order in which I'm putting these ingredients in. And then it calls for a table. No, let's see. How much garlic? 2 garlic cloves. Again, these are humongous. I'm just going to go for it. Oh, that is really big. In fact, I'm going to cut that in half. I don't think I've ever seen a garlic clove this big. Let me show you. Look at that. That's humongous. I'm going to just cut that in half. You see how big that clove is? And I don't have tiny hands. Let's just cut it in half, and I'm just going to roughly chop it, okay? So I'm just going to use about half of that. That's about 2 cloves. This is where cooking is so subjective. And it goes, okay? And then it calls for a 1/4 cup of olive oil, I believe. A 1/4 cup. And this is where extra virgin olive oil matters because it's going to be a raw sauce, right? So, yeah, that up. Move this. Close your eyes while I move my camera. Okay, I'm going to put the olive oil in already. Bring it right over to this. Perfect. I might have to get the plunger to put in here to help it move around a little bit because it's not very full. So let's pulse it for a minute. Oh, it's perfect actually. Oh, we got a little stuck. Right as I said that. Keep it going, keep it going. I can add a little bit of water to it. It's going to help it puree better. Now you can let this get as thin as you'd like, or as pureed as you'd like. Totally depends on how you like it. There we go. Let's take a look, shall we? I'm going to just have to use that garlic for something else. This is going to be delicious. This is probably thinner than what I typically do. I might add a little bit more olive oil. Ooh, but I like it because it's not going to like be thick and like just sit on top. I'm going to kind of like swirl it in to the chili and drizzle it all over the top. Let's just taste it and see what we think. That's the most important part, right? Okay. Oh, you know what's so good? The vinegar against the sugar. It's so nicely balanced, and the garlic is terrific. I just got a big bite of garlic. Whoops! That's okay. Okay, let's push this over to the side and come back to this and take a look at our soups, shall we? Put this down again. There we go. All right, let's see what's happening here. That's got a nice simmer going. That's probably right where I want it. I'm going to cut the heat on that. And then let's check here and see how our sweet potatoes are doing. I'm just going to cut into it. Yep, it's done. Oh, so easy, you guys. In go the beans. I'm going to show you the texture of this, the thickness, I should say, so that you can decide if you'd want to add more tomatoes, a little more stock, whatever you like. Let me get an oven mitt. We really need to use it, don't we? Okay. I'm going to let this keep simmering just to kind of melt the flavors some more, but I'm going to bring it to you so you can see it. Beautiful, right? I like it. You can't see the tomato at the bottom. That's kind of like the sauce is a little bit runny. Oh, no worries. Thanks, Deb. It's nice to see you. It's nice to have you here. Let's let that simmer a little bit more. It's just going to thicken up. And then we'll be able to add that cilantro oil, and we'll be able to taste the seasonings and make sure we like them, okay? We can also make the pumpkin seeds. That is good. So we've got that one turned off, and I think we should push this one aside. So we're going to let that cool before we do any of the pureeing, okay? And because I want to puree it directly in this pot. If it's not cooling fast enough, what you can do, can you see the steam coming off of this? You can't really. Maybe you can. If you just leave it open like this, and I'm stirring, it's just steaming a lot and releasing a lot of that heat, which is great. But in the meantime, let's do the pumpkin seeds, shall we? I'm going to get a little bit of that last touch of the cilantro oil and set that aside. And then we'll make some spiced pumpkin seeds. Again, it's going to drive me crazy that my board is not clean. So let me clean that for us. I'm going to push this back so that I can cook and I won't have to move this any more for you, okay? Maybe I lied because I just have to do squats like that if I want to see your, talk to the camera for all of you. Okay, great. So let's talk pumpkin seeds, pepitas. Let's see what it calls for here. 2 tablespoons olive oil, a half a cup of the seeds, and some cumin and chili powder again, and kosher salt. Well, that sure is easy. Now, I'm guessing that what I do is I put the olive oil in the pan, I toast the seeds a little bit, and add the cumin and the chili powder and the salt to just give them a little bit of a kind of cook the spices on the outside. It'll just make it a little smokier. Let's see if I'm right. Add the pepitas and toast for 2 minutes until fragrant. Add the cumin, chili powder, and salt, and stir to coat. You got it, Amanda. And then it says to transfer to a paper towel-lined plate. If they have a lot of oil on them, that's totally fine. Otherwise, you can just like pour them into a bowl or something. Okay, so I probably will get a little bowl, and we'll put some paper towel out for it. And then let me get a medium-sized skillet. Oh, I got new cookware, you guys. I got new Heston Nano Bond non-stick. This is the amazing cookware where you can save 20% if you use my code Amanda20. It's my absolute favorite non-stick on earth. It's the best there is. So we do this, and then I'm going to come up a little bit. I just can't get it right today, guys. It's just one of those days. I guess I'll just have to cook sitting down again. Okay, we're going to use a little bit of the cumin. We're going to use a little bit of the paprika instead of the chili powder. And that is going to be just fine. Now, I'm going to put them in a smaller container again because I don't want to overdo it. So let's see. A teaspoon and a teaspoon. Right back to where we were. Again, I'm not really measuring tonight. I trust myself. And I know if I'm off by a lot. Cooks very rarely measure. And so that's why it's funny when you write a cookbook and you really do have to measure. I don't ever want to approximate and then get it so wrong that someone thinks they don't know how to cook when they try my recipes. Okay, let's just add a little bit of olive oil. 2 tablespoons, it says. You just need enough to kind of coat all of them. Will you share your thoughts on cookware, especially thoughts on stainless steel and when best to use it versus other types of cookware like nonstick? I would love to. Let me make these pumpkin seeds and then we'll talk cookware. Thank you. I use nonstick so much more than I used to because the quality of the pans have improved and they're not giving up. So many of them are no longer toxic. A lot of them used to be toxic in the past. But the other thing is that the surfaces are so advanced that you can still get a really pretty sear on them. So you don't have to worry about only getting a sear on stainless steel, and they're much easier to clean. So I use non-stick, and I use my cast iron enamel and cast iron almost exclusively. I very, very rarely cook directly on my stainless lined pans anymore. Purists would probably use them, but even my friends, I know a lot of professional chefs, like restaurant chefs, who, unless they're cooking in their restaurants, they use nonstick all the time. Reductions, you know, I mean, I think that's the point. If you're trying to like, if you're trying to deglaze a pan, things don't stick to the bottom of a nonstick pan the same way, so they're great for that. But you can deglaze cast iron enamel like this. You can certainly deglaze stainless, right? But for most things I'm doing, like all the breakfast foods, all the searing, I sear in these pans now. I don't even use, or I'll use cast iron, which is, as I like to say, nature's nonstick. So I'm just going to make sure that I coat these evenly. Okay. I'm just going to give this a little toss. How's this looking? Oh, that looks amazing. I'm going to cut the heat on the chili and just let it do its thing. I'll show you guys what these look like. They're very fragrant. They'll start popping, literally start popping. So I'll cut the heat pretty quickly because we don't want exploding pumpkin seeds on us. They're hot and dangerous. If you really wanted the all of the spices to stick, you could put wash them in egg white, like dunk them in egg white, and then sprinkle the spices over them, and then bake them, and it would help the spices adhere better. I'm not going to worry about it very much. I just want these to be toasted and have some nice flavor from browning them. Raw pepitas are good, but not for what I'm trying to do with them here. So keep going for a second. And then we'll puree this soup. So annoying. I really need to hire somebody, don't I? Okay. I'm not going to put the paper towel because that's going to take all the spices off of them. So I want them to kind of sit in these spices, and I'll come show you, okay? Let me cut that heat. Put this in the sink. Hopefully I won't leave myself too big of a mess tonight, friends. You know how I do. I tend to leave big messes wherever I go. Okay, we're back. So now we have the pepita seeds toasted. They smell amazing. Cast iron is not obsolete, Deb. I love it. The thing with cast iron is that it's so heavy. This is all cast iron. It's just got an enamel lining in it, right? So people like cast iron for a lot of reasons. It retains heat really well. It is very slow to heat up, but then once it's warm, it stays at a really nice, even temperature. It takes a long time to cool down. Whereas stainless and copper heat up really quickly, which is great if you want really high heats, right? So I love cast iron. They're just incredibly heavy pans. And that goes for regular like Lodge cast iron or any of these cast iron enamel. I mean, I've literally spent years in physical therapy because of tennis elbow from carrying all these heavy pots and pans. But I love nonstick, and I love cast iron. If you're worried about nonstick surfaces or you've got bad nonstick pans, cast iron truly performs like nonstick because once you season it, which just means like once you've cooked in it for a long time and it's had enough oil absorbed into the pan, it's basically nonstick anyhow. And then you just have to rinse it out with water and wipe it clean, right? So no, I love cast iron. It's just really, really darn heavy. They haven't made a cast iron that is thin enough. It's like really hard to find a balance between a cast iron that is thin enough to be able to carry easily, but thick enough that it won't rust and won't conduct heat well, right? Let's see, which is the type of pan not supposed to use citrus or other acidic things like tomatoes. So Calphalon, you can worry about that, but a lot of times on a couple different metals, that can happen, KQ. What you also see with acid is that it just takes like stainless steel. It makes it look like a rainbow, like swirly on the bottom. It doesn't hurt your pan, but it can, I think it does, it can hit anodized aluminum, if I have that right. And that is what Calphalon's made of, even though it's a great conductor of heat. And Deb, oh, you have old cast iron. That's awesome. I love old cast iron. And if you keep it cleaned out, you know, like if you wipe it out well, then it lasts forever. And I love that your grandma had it. That's amazing. Yeah, Calphalon, that was it. And maybe Analon too. It's anodized aluminum. The acidic tomatoes, lemons, anything with acid can pit the pan. To be honest with you, when I worked at Williams-Sonoma when I was a young little thing, when I was 25, I never saw those pans pit much. I mean, you have to cook on them so much for that to happen. But we've just improved in cookware so much now, so you don't really have to worry about that with most anything, which is great, you know? Okay, let's puree some soup. What do you think? We'll puree the cauliflower one. We're going to add some lemon juice to that, and then I'm going to show you how to top it. I got some pine nuts that are kind of already toasted, so I'm not going to do to those what I just did to these pumpkin seeds. But, you know, if you want them extra brown, you can either bake them in an oven for a couple minutes at like 350, 400. Or you can saute them in a pan and watch them very closely with a little bit of olive oil because they burn in a second. They go from not being brown to being burnt. So you have to continually push them around in a pan if you want, so you don't burn those pine nuts. So let's finish off the cauliflower kale soup and then we will assemble the chili. Does that sound good? I love that it's, what time did we start? 5? Oh yeah, no, it's taking longer than I thought. I thought this class was gonna go by too quickly. But this is good. Okay, let's see. guys think? Do you think I should just move the camera back like how it usually is? And I'm going to land it all on the cutting board. Let's do that. Let's take like 3 minutes. And I'm not going to turn this off because it will cancel the recording. But I'm going to move this all. So let's just make sure I don't do anything to make you nauseous. Okay, I'm moving us again and again and again. And I'm not set yet, so don't worry. Oh, we're getting so close to making sense. Okay. I'm going to move this. It's a good thing that this counter is on wheels, this thing I'm going to show you again, because it's a lifesaver. Move this stool. Okay, we certainly don't need a phone or a scale or a blender in the way. Let's put the cutting board back up here so we can have some contrast. And when I go to plate it, you'll be able to see the soup against the beautiful wood. Okay, and then we're back down here. Oh, look at that. Isn't that reassuring just to have something that's not moving again? So much for my great experiment. Right, that's for the chili. Ooh, that's going to just be absolutely perfect. And then let's get this baby puree. I think I'll do this over here. Let's see how far this cord will stretch. We're going to put it to the test. Let's see. Oh, it might be a little too short. We're going to find out. Ah, it's going to work. I love it. I cannot wait to show you what this color is going to be like. Okay. You know what's so great about this? You really can use this to see every little last bit. That's why I'm not a food stylist. You have to have such a good eye. I actually have the eye. I'm just too impatient to make it work all the time. Okay, let's add a little bit of lemon juice to this first. And I'm just looking for the right knife for the job. Squeeze it right in. It's going to cook a little bit. I have a feeling this is going to need a lot more salt too, but I don't want to over salt it. I want to taste it first because I usually am working with homemade stock, and since this was store-bought, you know, and I call for veggie stock in this recipe, but I used chicken because that's all I wanted to buy today. I didn't want to buy 2 separate stocks, and I didn't have any homemade. So depending on if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you can certainly make this vegetarian. Okay, let's see how it is with that amount of lemon. And you guys, because this is still pretty hot, I'm going to be very careful with the immersion blender. If this was very high, I would not keep all the soup in the pot, but it's not that high. And so I'm not going to worry about it that much. Hold on, to turn it on. Oh, it's already on. I love this thing. So the thing is, it's got 15 different speeds. So as you become more comfortable with it, you can keep ramping up the speed. But I like to just kind of pulse all the ingredients down first to kind of get it to a smoother puree before I really crank it and you try to make it lump-free. Yeah, I'm going to get it on really high speed here in a second. Can't wait to show you the color. I'm glad I added all that spinach. I don't think Lori's in class tonight. I think she's made this recipe though. Okay, it's starting to look almost like there aren't any big lumps left. So this is when I'm going to crank it up. And hear it. I'm going to make sure it just like all gets pulled in there. Oh, there we go. You can see it getting sucked in a little bit. It suctions. That's what I'm going for. This is a great immersion blender. Very comfortable grip. It kind of looks like cream of broccoli. I can make a mess of it. I'm basically doing a product review right now. I'll tell you what I think in just a second. Because if you want to just kind of like half puree a soup, this is so amazing. So let's say you have like a black bean soup and you want it to have kind of like a thicker texture. So it's got broth and it's got the black beans and you can just like kind of coarsely pulse it. I think it's amazing to just have an immersion blender. And again, you don't have to put everything in another blender and do it in batches. So it is probably like one setting shy of being totally pureed like I like it for this recipe though. So if you wanted it like velvety smooth, it probably does better in a blender because you can add all those veggies in the blender and then just add the stock in a little bit by a little bit to thin it out. But I'm really happy with the texture. And remember, I didn't add all of that water because I didn't have all the stock I needed. I'm going to add a little bit right now. I'm just going to go under it like limbo. Let's just add a little bit of water. I'm supposed to have 4 cups, and I used a little bit under 3. So I'm not going to add too much, but it's going to sweeten it. Wow, the texture is pretty amazing. I'm going to add a little more water. It's just how I like it. Okay. Looks gorgeous. Wow. I love it. The funny thing is, I think when I use lacinato kale, it's actually brighter green than when you use spinach. So that's good to know too. Okay. Let's get that. I'm going to get the yogurt out instead of the creme fraiche to plate this up. And let's use, for both of these, I'm going to plate them the same way, okay? We're going to do this. Move this up. And then I'm going to get some fresh herbs for this too. And why don't I do this? I'm going to plate them next to each other. And then at the end, I'll move the camera and we can talk about both of them. So you can ask me questions and you'll be able to see my face. I think it's so strange when I'm talking at you without you being able to see my lips moving. Okay, let's taste for flavors first. Oh my gosh, you guys, the texture is beautiful. Definitely needs salt and it needs more lemon juice. Yeah. But the fact it's creamless is remarkable. It is so creamy. You can also add white beans if you wanted to add white cannellini beans. If you're ever trying to thicken a soup without cream, I'm going to regret that I just did this because I'm about to drop a seed in it. Nope. There you go. And then a little bit more. I've got all of my great citrus presses and juicers, and here I'm using my hands. This is so me. Okay. Let's stir this and add some salt as well. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is like fancy. Easy fancy. Needs more than that. Oh my gosh, beautiful. I'm going to do some small portions because I'm going to enjoy these myself. So let's taste it now. I'm going to use my tasting spoon again. Remember, this is the spoon I use to put it in the soup, but I don't eat from it. Mmm, delicious. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do this. Let's get them in a bowl, and then I'm going to put the fresh herbs, the yogurt, and the pine nuts on top. Where's my ladle? Did I give it to my son for college? Oh, I'll just use a measuring cup. That's what we'll do. I love to use measuring cups as ladles. Ow. I just literally pinched my finger in the drawer. Excuse me 1 second, guys. Okay, and we're back to where I was. Let's do this. We're going to ladle up some of this soup. I'm actually going to do enough so I can garnish it. I need more than I thought. Now, I think this is like a perfect texture for pureed soup. If you want it thinner, you can certainly add more stock or water. If you want it thicker, you just don't have to add as much. I would keep it at about 3 cups like I had done, right? And then we're gonna put, let's do this. Let's get the chili out. Don't worry, I'm gonna rinse this spoon first before I dip it in the chili. I added a fair amount of seasoning as I went, but we want to be sure. Needs more. The paprika's great. And you know what? Oh, we're going to get that hit of the acid from the cilantro oil. That's what's going to be, oh, that's going to be magical. So if you can see the texture here, it's like a little bit, the liquid itself is still a little thin. If you wanted it to be thicker, you could either reduce it longer or you could stir in about a tablespoon of tomato paste while you're cooking the onions. Double thumbs up. That's delicious. Let me get something else. No, we can just spoon it with this. And then we're going to get these garnished. And beautiful. Wow, this is perfect. And then you guys, what's today? Thursday? Oh, Thursday night football. It's the Niners playing tonight against the New York Giants. And my friend, who is part of a 49ers family, her boyfriend plays for the Giants. It's a big night. Even I'm going to watch. I think it started already, didn't it? I think we're like an hour in. Okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this out of the way. And then let's garnish these and make them beautiful. And we'll take a look at these masterpieces and I'll answer. Oh yeah, they are already playing. What's the score? All right, so for this one, we're going to have cilantro oil and pepitas. You can certainly make the little tortilla strips if you want. You can also just crunch up tortilla chips on it if you don't feel like doing something homemade. Oh my gosh. These are delicious. Q2 and our 49ers are ahead. 10-3. Oh. I'm still going to have to root for the Niners, even though I root for Haley's boyfriend. That's for sure. Okay, let's get the cilantro oil on this as well, which I put. Oh. It's not in the Vitamix anymore. Okay, so watch this. I'm just going to drizzle this kind of over. Oof, this is gorgeous. And this, you guys, I can't explain what a shockingly delicious addition this cilantro oil is. If you don't like cilantro, don't sweat it. You could use parsley. I'm going to put a couple more pepitas on top. And you could definitely add cheese to this if you want. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful and amazing. But It's delicious. Can you see it's still got a little bit of liquid around there? Totally up to you if you want to simmer that down and thicken it up, or if you want to keep it like this, right? The more it sits, the thicker it's going to get. This is just going to be a powerhouse of a recipe. And then let's take a little bit of yogurt. We're going to pretend it's creme fraiche. And I'm just going to get the little bit of liquid off the top that happens with yogurt. And then let me just kind of mix it like this. I'm going to show you a fancy trick. I think what happens in this recipe is it sinks to the bottom, but we don't care because we're fun. A bit more. Okay, so have you ever heard of a quenelle? That's all it is when they take 2 spoons. They do this for whipped cream, and they keep working it back and forth between the spoons to shape it. So it becomes like this cute little oval. And you can do this with whipped cream, you can do it with yogurt, right? And then what you do is you take your clean spoon here. If I was a professional chef, I wouldn't have left anything on the spoon. And you just keep going spoon over spoon until you get it right. And then you have like this beautiful little dollop. But I think it's gonna sink. Let's find out. Come on. Whoop. It's okay. I'm putting cilantro oil on this. I'm gonna just be crazy. Instead of the fresh herbs, you can do the chives. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be delicious. And then I'm gonna sprinkle a couple pine nuts on it for crunch. Of course, if you wanna keep it vegan, you don't have to add any dairy of any kind. But I think it makes it, you know, like creamy and smooth. And it's kind of like a, the balance of the creme fraiche, you know, kind of like the acidic hit of sour cream, creme fraiche, or yogurt is really nice against the sweetness of the cauliflower and the spinach or the kale. So you guys, ta-da! I just want you to see them before I taste them so you can see your works of art that you're gonna make yourselves. Amazing, right? Okay, now I can show my face again and you can ask me any questions you'd like about them. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Don't they have cameras too that can just like track your face so you don't have to do that? I think I need to, in my new location, I will have all of that. But let's just look at this right now. Let's taste the soup, the chili. See, I called it soup because it looks soupy. Just keep reducing it if you'd like. You guys, first of all, I hate when people are like, oh, healthy food. I always go for flavor first. This soup is, there I went again. This chili is so dang delicious and good for you. The cilantro oil is an absolute game changer. I'm going to put this on all of my chilies now. It is just so good. But I also love that if you have vegetarian friends or you want to just do something different, adding sweet potatoes along with black beans and the ground turkey, it's just like a beautiful addition to sweet potatoes. You certainly don't need any turkey if you would prefer to make this vegetarian, okay? It is absolutely hearty and delicious on its own. You get plenty of protein from the beans, and it's just goodness in a bowl. And it freezes really well. That's the part I forgot to tell you. Both of these freeze really well. So you can make a double batch, let it cool, put it into airtight containers, cover it, let it freeze, and keep it for a couple months in the freezer. Oh my gosh, this is going to be the football season staple. Oh my gosh, I wish I bought ingredients to do double of this. I guess I don't have to worry since it's just Charlie and me. And I'm not even around that much this week. I have to go out for a couple things at night. Let's try the cauliflower kale. Okay, I think I'm going to love the cilantro oil again. But again, you could do tarragon, basil. When people are like, cauliflower kale, every time somebody makes this recipe, they're shocked at how delicious it is. The texture is incredible. And it's just, you wouldn't know there's no cream in this. You guys, amazing. Amazing, amazing. It's not, I was like, is it a tie? Which one I like? I think I'm more excited about this one tonight because I forgot how good the cilantro oil is. And so if you just want to tell people, oh yeah, we're having chili for dinner, they're like, whatever. the cilantro oil, you're going to just like blow their minds. It's the thing about the vinegar with a little bit of sugar and the herbs. It's so good. So I'm going to have to pick this as my number one tonight. Oh my gosh, this weekend we're going to make the pumpkin bread. We're going to make a cranberry apple tart. So I'm going to have this for my lunch, and then I'm going to have those for dessert afterwards. It's going to be amazing. Deb, my Bali retreat is not sold out. I have hardly marketed it because with my book coming out, and we just did the retreat for No Kid Hungry here, which was amazing. Oh God, it was such a beautiful, beautiful day, and I hope we do more of them. So we did that retreat, and then I'm going to a wellness retreat in Florida in early November if you want to join me there for 48 hours in Boca Grande. It's beautiful at the Gasparilla Inn. That's like November 7th through the 9th. And my book comes out October 24th. So once I'm through that, then I'm going to start talking about Bali all the time. But it's going to be here before we know it. What are we in? Mid-September, late September already. A little bit over 5 months. March 2nd through the 9th, 2024 in Bali. You guys, it is the most amazing place. It's called Soulshine, and it's owned by Michael and Sarah Franti. Michael is the musician, Michael Franti, who's one of the most uplifting, amazing human beings I know. And his wife is just lovely. They're some of my favorite people on earth, and they built this place for people to go and truly be able to unwind and take in Bali in all of its glory. And it is so beautiful and nurturing without being like over the top. You don't feel like you're staying in a snobby place at all. It's very relaxed, but at the same time, it's beautifully done. It's like anything you could ever want. Yes, they have air conditioning there. It is very warm there, and it's very humid. But even I got used to it after a while. Like I brought sweats and a shirt. I always have like a sweater or something to wrap around me since I live in the Bay Area. And I was laughing. Not once did you want a second layer on. Not one time. They get these beautiful rainstorms. But it's really going to be a week of like nurturing ourselves. And all of the food that they prepare on site is spectacular. They have the most amazing culinary team. I'm going to be teaching a ton while I'm there. So we'll probably have 2 or 3 hands-on cooking classes. We'll have some demo classes, and then we're going to have some other secret surprise culinary classes for you with a guest friend of mine. We're going to take some field trips. We're going to go to a really amazing restaurant. We're going to go to the water temples where I'd never been to that part of the world, so I didn't know what to expect, but it's absolutely outstanding. What else are we going to do? There are some healers there that I went to see that just blew my mind. There are so many opportunities, but at the same time, if you just want to stay on property and relax, you can do that too, because we're going to be there with Haley Lott, who is going to be leading us in breath work and meditation every day. We'll do some yoga. If you want to do more strenuous activity, you can, but you can ride bikes through the rice paddies. The rice paddies are 10,000 years old where they live, you guys, where this resort is built. It's spectacular. There's a humongous pool with a slide down the middle. It's got full bars. There's like a, live music every night, live music or something different every night if you want it. They have some incredible local bands. I call them the Balinese version of Mumford and Sons. Michael Franti, rumor has it, is going to be in town, and he'll be there. I'm pretty sure he's going to be there. He told me he was going to be there, but we don't guarantee he'll be singing because it's not a Michael Franti retreat, right? But it is just magical. So Deb, if you're thinking about it, I'm going to highly encourage you to join us. You guys, I went last year. My cousin and her husband really wanted to go to one of the retreats there. And I've been talking about going for years to teach. And so Sarah, Michael's wife's like, come on, do it. I haven't flown it took 17 hours from San Francisco to Singapore, direct. And I was like, that's going to feel insane. It didn't even feel that bad. Yes, it's long. And I had extra leg room. I had I wasn't in business, but I was in, what do they call that on United? Code. Whatever, where you get like a little bit of extended leg room. I needed it. That was great. But, and then there was a long layover in Singapore because we missed our connecting flight because of weather in San Francisco. My point is, yes, it's a very long way to go, but once you're there, it's just like, it felt like home to me. It felt like somewhere I was supposed to be. And every day to know you could wake up and just be nurtured. We were doing a lot of yoga when I was there. And um, it just, like, I took advantage of some of the opportunities to leave the property, but not like you would think. Like, just like 15 minutes down in town, there's a monkey forest. And I didn't even go to that. I didn't even go river rafting. I didn't hike the volcano because I thought, I'll be back and I'll be able to experience this place again and again. It's just really magical. So whether you're going because you just want to decompress and you want to relax and you want to learn a little bit about great food, they have a spa, so we get spa treatments too. Those are remarkable. Or if you are an adventurer and every day you want to venture out and do something different in the afternoons, we'll have activities planned. You can certainly fly solo if you want. But there will be enough food and enough entertainment for you every day while you're there. That's included in the price, okay? So if you're thinking about going, please email me. I know we have a discount for like $250 off. And you can get a single room where you can buy a single, so you get a room that's meant for 2 people, right? So if it's 2 women, you'd be booked with someone you don't know. They swear they've never had a problem of like random roommates meeting, because everybody who goes there is like kind of on the same level. They're all there to kind of just experience this beautiful place. But you can also go with a friend and get rooms with 2 double beds, or a single and a single, or they sell rooms for couples, or if you just want a room to yourself, obviously you can pay the upgrade for that. So I think there are 30 spots total. I do not know how many we've sold. I haven't looked in a long time. And there's another retreat there. The whole place holds 60, 65 people. And so we're going to take over half the property while we're there. But the other retreat that's going to be there, they're long-term customers, guests. They come every year. And so Sarah said it's just a wonderful group of people joining us too, which is going to be really nice. So I hope we make some new friends while we're there. So highly encouraging you to join us if you'd like. Anyhow, that's enough about Bali. The next time I see you, no, I'll see you guys this weekend if you join me for the fall baking. Oh, I'm going back to 2 classes a month. You'll also be hearing from me if you're a VIP. We are, because of this new business I'm moving into, you guys, which I can't wait to tell you about, I'm doing one class fee for everybody. So whether you're $9.99, if you're a VIP right now, you're going to get downgraded in price, but we're keeping the amount of curriculum. It's going to be one fee for everybody. It's just too much to manage. It's like all of these streamers who charge 8 million different prices with commercials, without commercials. Isn't it annoying? Let's just do everything all the same for everybody. This is not going to be the place I get rich in life. It's like so silly to charge more than $9.99 a month. I know people think I'm insane for doing that because these are really fun, extensive cooking classes. I don't care. I just want to have a good time with you guys on here. And I would rather you join and stay here for $9.99 a month, because within a year or so, when we move into our new digs, which I can't wait to tell you about, the whole experience is going to be upgraded. And you'll still be members for this price, and you'll be so glad you stuck around. So that's all I wanted to say about that. If you guys have questions, you can always reach out. And don't forget, if you make any of these things, tag me at Amanda Haas Cooks, okay, on Instagram. I have barely been on TikTok. I'm so bad about it. I literally can't remember the last time I posted on there. So we'll do fall baking this weekend at 10 a.m. Pacific time if you're watching this live right now. So in 2 days, we'll do it 10 a.m. Pacific. And then next month, it's going to be all about the cookbook. Don't forget to pre-order yours. I don't know where I put my copy. Just enter my name online or go to my website and click on cookbooks, and it'll give you a million ways to order the book. And you can enter whatever contest. You can ask for one signed. Okay, guys. So thank you for joining me tonight, as always. Are there any other questions? Nope. Yeah, Deb, we all need everything I mentioned. That place is amazing. And to get there, I mean, the thing is, for the quality of a place it is, the prices aren't horrible. And especially since it's inclusive of all of the food and fun, right? I want to say it's $3,500, $4,500, depending on the room that you get for the whole week, and then your airline, right? So I'm not saying that's not a lot of money, like it's a lot of money, but I mean, I just was like blown away. I've been to some places that are more like the super like Canyon Ranchy kind of things, and you would be paying 2 to 3 times that much. You just have to get yourself to Bali. So that's the scoop, okay? Thank you everybody for hanging out with me as always. And I'll see most of you, I hope, on Saturday morning. And Susan, happy move. If we don't see you on Saturday, I hope you have a great move and be safe going to Ohio, okay? Take care, everybody. Bye. Now I have to find my mouse. Okay. Oh, let's see how this new thing works. Shall we? How do I stop the class? That's going to be interesting. I don't know. We're just going to go all night. Turn off camera, record, stop recording. Bye. Oh, it's